Well, it's Friday morning, and I've had kind of a bad day yesterday, struggling, and last night thinking, this morning thinking. Now I'm downstairs for a little while before lunch, and I think what I'm going to have to do is pull back on my DC conversion because my three magnet thing wasn't accurately built enough. The 2 magnet thing was built accurately enough, but it runs hot. I'd like to get an extra magnet in there, but for me to machine that out takes way bunch of time, like probably half a day to get that done and then refit it. What I've put together here is a conventional coil, and everything is conventional on here, and it runs really smooth and it stays pretty cool using the factory reverse in AC, using AC track. I've been able to get it to run pretty okay. So, and then the dilemma is I have this other engine, which is a dual drive. I showed it to you yesterday. Let me go get it just so you can have it for perspective. And then I may get something else also for perspective. Put it in the same orientation. Of course, a giant magnet sucked onto its wheel. These magnets are just everywhere. Okay, let me get another piece here that I happen to enjoy. I want to show. Here we go. This is a dummy that goes with it, but it's okay. I'll move my light over here. So this is just a blank chassis. You know what I'm working with is a single drive, right? So it's flat out here. It's flat out here. Here. So this is the dual drive. This is something I'm thinking about putting with the chrome engines, just because this is so pristine and so original. It deserves to be somewhere special, in my opinion. All right, let me go ahead and get the other chassis. Make myself crazy here. Of course, it has a glob of magnets hanging off of it. Hold on a second. Pull some of this off if I can. Oh, criminy. Yeah, they're all hooked up. Okay. Hi. Okay. Now we're back. This is the story, Morning Glory. This is how we started out. Let me get these in order here. Okay. You let go. You're not magnetized, are you? Yes, there's a magnet. Oh, God. Oh, these things. I don't know where it went, but it's gone now. Okay. This is how we started out, right? Single drive, trying to convert it to DC. Didn't work. Oh, this thing went flying. All right. Didn't work. It worked, but not well enough for me. I wasn't pleased. I wasn't happy. I don't know what's going on. Okay. And this was overheating, but I seem to have gotten the overheating with the controller. This controller does work for that. And then I started thinking about using the this drive instead, So if I take that off, if I can somehow cut that, I can. But take this off. See, I set this all up, and then as soon as I get started, I want to change everything. Change my story line. There we go. Get rid of you. Get rid of the wire. Get rid of the board. Just hang out over there. Okay. Now we're cooking. Okay. And then, okay, Mr. Reverse. Oh, I see. Okay, for single drive it goes there. Oh boy. Okay. So that area is open. This area is open. So for the single drive, you have this space. For the dual drive, he goes there, you have that space. And what I thought was the best use. Instead of fussing with this drive for another couple of weeks and taking forever to get somewhere, I liked the smoke and the sound. What if I just focused on a smoke that could be a DIY assembly? That is, anyone could do it. What do you think of that? Anyone could install smoke. So what I did was I came up with the dimensions. If this is the engine, so what I may do is I may actually build these engines this way. You know, I have wires hung on here, so it can't really separate. Okay. So I got my standard smoke, which, you know, I tried to put, but I couldn't, so I came up with my stubby. Actually, the stubby was actually one for a building I was going to do, a bum shack smoke. But at any rate, I started this whole smoke thing long ago, and I started out with this type of design where the motor would bolt to the bottom, so it was a vertical motor, and it blew the smoke over and then up, and this was just a mounting bracket. This was for steam engine chassis. So I had this squarish design. If you lopped off that mounting pad, you see, if you lopped off that mounting pad, it would fit in there. So what I thought I'd do is I'd go through the exercise. So I measured this area, being the smallest, using this piece here, so these two would be the same. Then this is for the chassis that is a dual drive configuration, and what you end up with is about 1 3/8 by 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 space, what I call the Alco smoke cube. If I can fit in this smoke cube and there's the outlet, then I have smoke for it. Smoke cube for Alco. So then I wanted to say, is this physically possible? Can I make smoke in that smaller space? And I've measured my standard smoke, and I get a 1.68 square inches of space is taken up by that. If I measure this one, I get 1.56 cubic inches of space is taken up. So it's pretty darn close. Then I went to my historical files and I drug out all the variations of smoke housings that I had built over the last 5 years. And as you can see, there are some small ones. This one in particular, look at that. That one would fit with room to spare. The question I always had was, is that enough room for the heat and the smoke and everything to be contained properly? I had this one, which is a little deeper. It's probably a little too deep. And then I have other variations for different reasons, for mounting and fitting into different things. I was looking at in different engines, like the Franklin, for example. But what I think I'm going to do is take something like, I don't know, maybe this guy is the best candidate that we have. You can see it's pretty good design. It's pretty clean. And maybe a variation of that, those two, and fit it in here. And I found that the smoke outlet is in this area. If you took this piece and laid it next to it, lined up the bolt holes, sort of, that's the outlet. The outlet is right. The outlet. There's the outlet. The outlet is right here. Okay, so it may be actually maybe more over here. Move that over, okay. Well, it's in center, okay, it's not bad. So that you could see more of a square box like this, and then a pad for the fan, and an outlet for the fan, and then the motor, if this can come down, the motor can hang down underneath it in here area, and it would suck air in. It would suck air in here, compact it, and push it out here. And all you'd have here in this lid would be your heater and a hole. Right? So, same 4 wires, 2 to the motor, 2 to the heater. Same volt rectifiers, need those, and the DC AC converter, or AC to DC converter. So, but the idea is use track power, and you come into here, boom, and you can get smoke for diesel Alco in a compact box that, if you have an existing antique, you can use your chassis, fit it in here, and the only thing you'd have to do is to put a hole in this for exhaust, and you could have smoke in your Alco with all of the other stuff. Now, down the road, we want to make changes. You want to add digital. I get the motor fixed, you know, so that it works better, or I come up with a method of converting to a DC can motor. That can all fit within this environment easily, really can. This board can't, obviously. Oh, well, it does a little bit, but it still makes it tight, doesn't it? Let's see. Where's the little stick go? I can change the heatsink. Yeah, so it's 1.25 inches instead of it's not even 1.25 inches. Yeah, it is. It's 1.1 1/8. That's tight. Anyway, I'll find something else if that's the case. I'm not worried about that. I can get a different controller board. So this is what I'm thinking about doing, is going after this engineering situation, coming up with this design. How high can it be, and how long is the motor? And I do have a shorter motor. This motor is about, see if I can see, it's about 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8. So this motor sticks up quite a bit compared to the space you have. See that? So that gets a little testy. But I did find a shorter version of this motor, and I use it in my, I use it somewhere. Oh, I use it in my Atlantics. Yeah, because the drive gear comes up close, so I have to get this shorter motor. So I may have to find this shorter motor. The other option is to drill a hole. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather not poke the motor down if I can. And I can't come up too high. I mean, even this thing is higher than the chassis. You can see that, but not much. You know, you don't have an arm and a leg here, so you don't have a whole lot. And the fan itself is about out to here. So you got to have at least that much room, which it looks like you could almost get that much room. And then your opening would be on the side, so you'd be blowing the air out the side. So you can see here, you could see here and here. I could shorten these boxes easy enough. Shorten the boxes and make them wider to get the cubic volume in here. Get the cubic volume here by changing the shape. Don't go so deep, just go wider. Then, clearly, yeah, clearly. Well, not clearly, but almost clearly. That could fit. All right, well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Make a smoke into a cube. See what I can do with that. Put the motor down here. Put the motor down here. Have a fan up here. Inlet here. Shooting out over here. And then out of here you have a heater. Then you have the opening. And this is a big box full of material, and the smoke oil blows out. And this is retrofittable to all existing standard vintage engines. I think that's a better adventure for me right now. I'm that close. I have all the technical. All I have to do is, it's a packaging issue now. Size it so that it fits. And for me, that's just given science. That's not research. That's just product development. That's what I've done for 50 years of my life. So that'll be done. That'll be done in a week easily. Then I can take my other stuff, you know, like my wheel pickups for all-wheel pickup, and you could take your dual drives. Look at this. Every wheel could be a pickup right there. Boom. Look at this. Every wheel. 8-wheel pickup on steel wheels. I mean, that has to be something, unless you're on a grade, I suppose. Then the other thing is, look at this. The dummy is actually a dual drive frame. Oh my God. Flipped around, of course. But so then my next thinking, magnets. Then the next thing I was thinking was, if I do come back to this chassis just doesn't lend itself to a DC motor very easily. Wow. It's been on my mind for some time to actually go ahead and create that chassis. With the gears, the shafts, the gears, space for the motor, and potentially put the worm up on an angle. So you end up with there's these drive shafts that can do angles. So the motor's in the center, you're angling down, you're driving every wheel with the DC can. Like I showed you the other day, I think I could build this chassis and put ball bearings from race RC cars, you know, radio controlled car ball bearings. Put ball bearings in here for the axles and ball bearings in here for the shaft, and 3D print the chassis, the brackets, the mounts, and then insert all of our flyer wheels and gears. I think the smoke cube, and if I did this smoke cube right for the Alco, that could be the one I use in buildings. So now I've got a smoke cube that fits Alco and buildings. Then do this chassis, because look, these damn chassis are everywhere. How many drive trucks do you have? They're scarce, they're hard to find. Just like my smoke. I made this smoke out of, I can't find enough smoke, vintage smoke units, and I was cutting them up and just ruining them, and I felt terrible. Why do that? Let's print a new chassis out of some really rugged plastic with carbon fiber impregnation, so it's strong, it's non-conductive, which lends itself to the wheel pickups. Then now you need the wheel pickups, but you want them because now you got four-wheel pickup. I'm also exploring a new kind of controller. Not going to tell you about it yet, other than it's small and it's solid state and it would fit. That's all I can tell you right now. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm sorry. And I know it might feel and look like I'm hopping and jumping, but really I kind of this is an evolutionary path, okay? And yeah, I did it, it worked. It didn't work as good as I wanted. So I'm not gonna put something out that's gonna melt or burn up or heat up, not function right. The only challenge I have is, what do I do with a single drive now? Do I do a single drive and try to make the best of it? Well, this is a pull-more motor now. So a pull-more and single drive with traction wheels is not too shabby. 6-wheel pickup. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I think what I'm going to end up doing is taking this chassis, though, and sending it over here with this old Santa Fe. I'm going to build my own trucks eventually one day and put my smoke cube here and my controller here and show you that down the road. Right now I'm just going to give you the smoke cube and the vintage engines. I just think that makes sense for now. Alright, that's where I'm at. Sorry about all this, but I thought you needed to know, and maybe you want to see some of the thought process. Okay, later.